Right, Cian here.
And Ophelia.
A bit weird to hear from us directly, but we've heard there might be some folks listening to our tale and wanted to take the time to thank you all for sharing our journey. We'd love to hear more from you, so please leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube streams.
And join us on a Discord server to speak with us and discuss your own TTRPG creations.
You can check our website to find our portraits and maps of our world. Find it all on Linktree/SpareTheCrying. Background music is by Marika Shans, and our intro music is by Ben McElroy.
Our outro is The Falcon by Mimi and Richard Farina, covered by May, voice of Cian.
And our official art is by our very own Corey, at CrowQueen on Twitter. And with that, I'm sure you'll be hearing more from us in the future, so we'll see where the winds take us and meet you there.
So, last session our boys had some unfortunate dreams and woke to a wolf in their room. That wolf is Kirit, but they can be forgiving despite the recent evidence to the contrary. Alright, I know that's not fair. I know. Anyways, after a brief scuffle, Kirit returned to his human form and was very sorry for what he'd done. He decided to keep him around anyways. Amongst the drama, Henry noticed the celestial stone on the floor. It seemed to have burned a hole in Virgil's pocket. With only Ox noticing, Henry slipped it away in his pocket. You all went to report to Fenanita and did an okay job of it. She didn't seem particularly happy with Kirit's unwarranted presence. But still, you're sent off on the train, spirits a little low, the vampire in your bag, and a werewolf at your side. And the train moves out of Freya. Are you all smiling at me?
A little low.
Yeah. So, you are all back on the train, which to everyone but Kirit must now feel like a familiar sort of homecoming to you. Kirit, this is your first time on a train. You are blessed with essentially first class. The train car that you ride is in the very front. You each have a compartment of your own. Now your additional meeting room space has been taken up by your new friend. The walls are wood-paneled, warm. It's surprisingly quiet for such a loud and terrible machine. And you all are free to spend this next week as you please.
Just throughout the trip, Virgil will take a few hours out of each day to meditate and tend to the terrarium and make sure the little sprouts are growing okay.
They are growing exceedingly fast.
Yes.
By day 5, you have fully blossomed sunshine gold flowers.
Oh. He documents each day with a new drawing of them. He will also take the time to, one evening when everyone is out at dinner, just catch Errol up on some things that they should probably know. Like a brief summary of where the fuck Virgil has been for 2 years and a little aside about vampirism.
Where are we keeping Errol?
So Errol is, I wouldn't say happy to stay in the bag, but Errol is accepting of his fate to stay in the bag. They come out occasionally in Virgil's room. I assume they're staying with Virgil. Well, actually, I guess I shouldn't say that. Are you willing to lend the bag holding to Virgil?
Yeah, I think Cian would take out the instruments and 2 of the books. All of the other books and everything else he has in there he doesn't need. So
Errol will come out at night occasionally, and they spend a lot of time as a bat in case someone walks in. Not only are they not wanting Rowan to see them, they also don't want a train attendant to come by and see that someone who is not supposed to be here is here. And I mean, he's smart about these things. He's cautious.
If Kirit has noticed that Errol is flying around as a bat sometimes, he will periodically ritually cast Speak with Animal. Just so that there can be a line of communication should he wish.
Ooh, French speaking bats!
Excellent. I think Errol is very appreciative of that. I kind of want to get to like what each of you guys want to do first, but I mean, Errol does need to talk to you guys, but I think that can be a group kind of thing. Errol tells you, Virgil, that if you could arrange a time, he needs to speak to Henry in private.
Okay.
Kirit, what are you doing on this train ride?
What
Head out
is
the
he
window.
doing? Head out the window for sure. he definitely sticks his arm out and is surprised by the force of the air pushing it back, and spends quite a long time just being mesmerized watching the scenery pass. At some point, he will knock on Virgil's door.
Who is it?
It's just me. Hear it.
He will not shoo the little bat into the bag. Yeah, he'll open the door.
Hi, sorry, this sounds... your pocket. I do, need help fixing that.
Oh, well, I suppose I have a spell for it. It kind of slipped my mind.
Oh, yeah, or I could just stitch it up if you want. I'm kind of looking for something to do.
Yeah, I understand that. Come in. I can... Here. He will go about swapping to a different shirt and pass over.
Carrot will politely avert his gaze. He will take out a very rudimentary sewing kit and get to work, slowly, methodically placing some slightly wonky stitches.
Is this your first time on a train?
It is. I had no idea they could be this grand.
It is the Good Love and Good Love Rail line. That is what they do.
I suppose.
Is it to your liking?
Very much so.
When did you learn to do this?
Do what?
Well, the stitching and such.
Oh. Well, I knew a little of it from my sister, but then I had more need of it living on my own. I'm still not very good at it, sorry.
That's alright. It is better for it to be hand done than with a spell, anyway, I think.
You can always mend over it. I will take no offense.
I don't think that will be necessary.
Should we end this evening?
I think so.
Kirit, if you'll allow this, if Kirit seems welcoming, throughout this train ride, Rowan is typically in his room. There are a few times where he'll knock on your door and ask if he can do work in your room.
Absolutely.
What the fuck?
You still don't see much of him, but maybe 3 or 4 times out of the trip.
What the fuck is happening?
He doesn't really talk too much. Not in a cold sort of way. He seems preoccupied with something. He always has some sort of chart that he is working on, or it looks like he's reading through documents, writing something. He's always occupied, but he will spend time there. Anyway.
If Kian will allow, he wants to go through the book, like at least some of the books that we've gotten. The ones that are like in the old Celestial, if I'm remembering correctly. Also having like a generalized priority to, especially for the first few days, keep an eye on what the Celestial gem is doing. Just to see how it's holding up being in a glass bottle instead.
The gem appears to be changing shape slightly. It's almost like it's refining itself. The color is the same. It's starting to resemble more of like a coin shape, flat and more perfectly round.
Interesting. But it seems to be doing fine in glass, since it did burn that hole through Virgil's pocket.
No.
Yes, okay.
On the second night, you hear a knock at your door, and you open it to Virgil with a bat half hidden on his shoulder. I'm assuming, Virgil, you would allow this method of transportation.
He does anything he's asked, obviously. It's this little guy.
Okay. And a bat flies over your shoulder and lands on one of the seats. And once you close the door, there's a puff of smoke, and now there's a human man sitting cross-legged on the bench next to the window. He gestures for you to take a seat across from him.
Henry joins across from him.
So, understandably, is asking how we met. And considering it is your story to tell as well, I thought perhaps you should know it first. Is now a good time?
Yes, of course. I appreciate it, I must say. So, at your own pace, then I'll follow you.
They nod. They have kind of a tight-lipped smile. You don't see them acting very awkward very often, but you can kind of tell there is some tension here. He shrugs. Well, there was a time... I don't know how much about your past everyone here knows. There was a time I thought I was unhappy with myself, and maybe a change would be for the best, and you were going to help me with that. And in the end, I decided not to go through with it. For the best, I think. You had some friends in somewhere who were helping you. Does any of this sound familiar?
Well, I can infer a lot of it. Again, I unfortunately don't recall anything with you specifically, but I do know of whom you're speaking, and I do still keep in contact with them if that was something.
No, I changed my mind. It wasn't a problem from some outside source. It was my decision. And it is not a story, at least from my side, that I have a problem with sharing, but I did not know how you felt about it. So I did not tell Virgil anything.
I think it's all right if you want to bring it up from your end. It's not necessarily something that I've spoken with the group about, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not interested in it. It just really hasn't come up. At least not in a way that I think is necessarily relevant.
It is your decision. I don't think he would mind if I said it was a simple private matter. I can leave it at that.
No, I'm definitely fine with you sharing. If they have any follow-up questions for me, I can most likely answer.
All right. It is good to see you. They turn into a bat.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make it that awkward. I was just a little bit thrown off. I don't hear that one very often.
Flutters across the room and lands on your shoulder.
Would you like me to take you back over to Virgil, then? Lift to the left foot for yes, right for no?
Slap him with a wing.
You do get a little wing slapped, and then Errol takes off again and then turns back into human Errol, seated next to you. His smile looks a little more genuine this time, and he shrugs. Sorry, I don't have good control yet. I can take my leave now, but I should not walk the all ways. I have to hitch a ride.
Right. Yes, I'm not kicking you out, by the way. I just.
I understand. I know you need a private room. Changes back into a bat.
I just didn't expect it was. It wasn't the relationship. Not in a bad way. I just wasn't expecting. Right. So going back over to Virgil's room, he does as he's saying that.
As you're standing up, you get another wing in the face. The bat flies off you again, turns back into Errol again. Just so you know, we were only friends. I think that also needs to be repeated because I can see sort of there is a concern amongst everyone. That is all it was.
Oh, you think that I thought it meant relevant? I didn't. Not that you're not lovely, but I was not thinking of a romantic relationship.
No.
No, I was more worried that we had somehow had some sort of animosity, or I owed you something to that degree. So I'm pleasantly surprised why that's not the case. I have a reputation among.
I know.
Yes. Pleasure to remake your acquaintance.
They take your hand, shake it once firmly, and then, perhaps for the last time this evening, turn into a bat again. Land on your shoulder.
At this point, Henry is, well, nobody would even have to insight check him. He's a little bit visibly embarrassed.
All according to Keikaku.
And so he will take Errol back to Virgil's room without any more elaboration.
Ox, was there anything you wanted to do in particular?
Well, speaking of Errol, probably on the first day, Ox would ask Virgil if he could speak to Errol for a little while. He doesn't mind if Virgil is in the same room. That's not really a big deal.
I mean, I'm not their keeper. I You can ask them. I can't give permission for that.
Yeah,
Do you want to come in?
yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. Step aside to let Ox in.
Once the door closes, a little bat flares down from the corner of the ceiling, and puff of smoke, and Errol is sitting cross-legged on the bench next to the window.
Ox will. He is. I love Errol.
Yes.
Ox takes out from his bag another, like, sort of wrapped bag. It looks to be about the size of a book. He hands it to Errol. I got this, thinking it could help keep you busy on the ride back.
There is a split second where he loses his languid nonchalance. He leans forward to take it, looks at it for a moment, looks back at you, opens it very gracefully and carefully. He neatly unfolds it.
He finds a small set of watercolor paints and a pan for them to go in, as well as a paintbrush, a nice block of watercolor paper, nothing like super fancy, but decent, and a small pencil set as well.
I'm gonna fucking cry.
You said this is the first day.
Yeah.
He stares at it all for a second, arrayed out in front of him. You catch just the slightest hint of a glimmer in his eye. He blinks a few times. He won't make eye contact with you, nods. How did you know this would be of interest?
Well, the other night when we were talking at the bar, you mentioned you like painting.
I did not have to do this, but thank you. I actually cannot read a single book in that bag. So, well, I can read yours, but I think that will be perhaps a night or two. I appreciate this.
Yeah. Ox will rub at the back of his neck a little sheepishly. I like to go spend some of my time up on the roof of the train if you're looking for company later at night, usually.
It seems maybe not the best environment for painting.
Yeah, not really for painting, but for smoking a cigar. If
There's a
that's-
slight curl of disgust to their lip, and they nod. Perhaps.
Ox will just sort of tip his hat a little bit, and
Do you have I don't know, a favorite color?
yeah, green is my favorite color.
What? Noted.
Probably the first night after dinner, Kian would say that he was going to go up to the top of the train to watch the sunset. Like if anyone wanted to join.
Is that an option?
If you're very careful, please.
It's not that dangerous.
It's not that slick
You
up there.
can walk on walls, Kian. It's not dangerous for you.
Plenty of people walk on top of trains, Virgil.
Yeah, criminals.
Oh my goodness.
And idiots.
It does seem to be going rather fast, but I would dearly love to know what that's like.
Yeah, come up. We can head. We could go there right now. Is Ox gonna come up?
Yeah, Ox will join.
You two stay in.
Yeah.
Keen will grab some of his stuff. He'll grab his mandolin case and head up to the roof.
Carrot will grab his fiddle and follow.
Ox grabs a couple of cigars and follows behind.
He's gonna play the cigar.
So you guys walk back through all of the train cars to the caboose. Maybe say hi to you don't end up meeting, who maybe had their own adventure. You have to ask her. Which you can do now.
Or not.
Climb to the top of the train. It's starting to get a little bit colder as you move up north. You're here to watch the sunset, so it's still a little bit light out.
Kian is pretty intent on actually being quiet and really watching the sun set. And after about 30 minutes or so, he'll take out his mandolin.
You've picked a good night. It's mostly clear with a few clouds that catch the color. Deep red on the horizon. It is a forested area, but these woods aren't like the more towering woods of the Dawning area. You can see it pretty clearly. And as you start to play a song, well, what do you play? What kind of music do you play?
He plays something slow, and you can tell that he is making it up as he goes. It's a little bit Rasulian, kind of like a slow folk song.
You are lost a bit in the music. It takes you a moment to realize that the footsteps you can hear are like in tune with the beat. And also that it's odd that you can hear footsteps up here, the whistling of the wind and the mandolin in your hand, as if it was silent around you. And the rest of you see Lo walking towards you down from the front of the train.
What are they?
We summon them!
A god!
Railway cat.
Fucking god!
Falling star.
They look the same as usual, the rope around their belt, fringe jacket. Their hat is on, as well as their mask. They stop at the edge of the train car in front of you.
Kirit waves.
Their head just cocks to the side.
He shrugs.
He shrugs as well.
Ox holds out the cigar, offering it for Lo.
His gaze turns to you, Ox, and his eyes narrow slightly, and he shakes his head and sits down. Rifles in his pocket, pulls out the bag of stones that you've seen them with before. And as if none of you are there, they start to take them out one by one and just array them on the top of the train.
On the same car as us now, or still?
No, they're across.
He'll slow down and come to a stop.
Guys, I think Lo's mad at us. We killed a star.
Well, maybe I started and tried to kill us though.
Thought maybe you'd be up here.
They look over, tip their hat.
I heard your voice in the oceans. Was that you?
Their head tilts to the other side. They just stare at you.
Like a day ago.
They just watch you, unblinking.
Are you mad at us?
They turn back to the stones that they're arranging.
Maybe I should roll an insight check for this, but is there hostility in his posture?
You may as well roll.
5.
I'm also gonna roll 11.
11. I mean, they are hard to read. They're wearing a hat, fabric mask that covers the entire bottom half of their face. A fringed jacket that does a decent job of hiding their body shape underneath. He's oddly quiet. There was something a bit uncanny about his gaze, but not necessarily angry, just different, I guess, from what you usually see from Lo.
Kian watches and nods to himself. He'll go back to playing.
Ox will eye Lo for a little while, but continue smoking his cigar.
Kira can't sit still and be quiet. He'll stand up and get closer to the edge. Hello, I'm Kirit. Do you have a rock collection?
They look up at you. They're sitting down, and down to their rock collection. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
No. You're not supposed to be here.
Like on top of the train?
They nod.
Oh. I had kind of worried about that.
It's all right.
Does that mean you're not supposed to be here either?
They lower the mask beneath. It looks like features of a person. With a bit of stubble, a bit unkempt. No.
Well, I suppose if neither of us tells anyone, then we're good, right?
Maybe.
Do I know you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't seem to remember you. Your voice is familiar.
Yeah.
Mind telling me who you are?
They look a bit beyond you to the rest of the group. Back to you. They call me Lo. You can too.
Well, suppose it's not a first meeting then, but pleasure to remake your acquaintance.
It's a first meeting. Pleasure to meet you too.
Kian's watching with a very confused look on his face.
Ox has also begun watching.
He's slowed playing a little bit again.
You did something bad out there?
Not something I'm proud of.
They nod. Go back to rearranging the rocks.
So how do you pick which rocks?
They're fallen stars.
Fallen stars?
Yeah. This is what it's like to meet Lo.
How do you figure?
I see him. Points straight up. Traces an arc across it. See him falling.
And how do you know you've picked up the right one, that it's a star?
They don't say anything.
I think he just sits in the silence for a while. Looks at the rocks. At Lo. Probably up at the stars for a little while.
Does he play his fiddle at all?
If he hears a tune that is somewhat familiar to him, join in quietly, sort of accompany Kian, but nothing showy.
Fuck is up with Lo?
Probably that next morning, he would just let everyone know that he wants a little bit of space and he's gonna do some reading. And he locks himself in his compartment and just studies for 3 or so days.
I have a couple of things that Ox does on the train.
Yeah.
To take up his time. One of the things that he purchased before they left was a pound of loose tobacco, as well as cigarette papers for rolling and filters if they have them. He does like it filtered. But also, a couple of boxes of cigars.
And you were in Freya, and they have fine cigars in Freya.
Exactly. Ox does usually prefer, I think, to smoke Freyan tobacco. I think it's pretty accessible for somewhere. But that's like one of the things that he does is he just starts rolling cigarettes in order to pass the time. One morning, Kian, you might also wake up with, like on the sleeve, like the cuff of your sleeve, your shirt sleeve, maybe a little like embroidered little sprout.
It's like, how the fuck did I get there?
He's very confused.
Is it growing on me?
It's another leaf every night and he's like, what the fuck?
The next morning you'll just find mirrored on the other side. Yeah, and I think maybe we have a talk to. Ox will knock on Henry's door probably on the first night.
Good evening, Oxa. Everything all right? Or?
You mind if I step in so we could have a talk in private?
Not at all. Henry lets Ox into the room, closes the door. Did you hear more about Scarlet? Or...
No, I was thinking we'd talk about that stone from the other day. Were you gonna tell Virgil that you have it?
No.
And, why?
Well, it's not Virgil. Look, maybe, eventually, I will tell Virgil, but you know that once we get to Dorling, the very first thing that he's going to do is surrender that. He's basically just keeping it for Rowan to hand over to Nevane, and I don't think that Nevane should have it. I still don't trust them, even if their intentions aren't bad. What they're doing isn't necessarily bad. I have questions, and I don't... So sorry, Virgil, but you saw how he caved to Rowan. I just don't want it to be a factor if he's not going to listen to his own morals. It feels mean to say it out loud, but you understand, right?
Yeah, I get it, but Virgil's gonna be right mad when he finds out, Henry. Notice how I said when, not if? He's definitely gonna find out eventually.
I mean, I'm sure that he will, but it'll be long after, and then we don't have to worry about the Nevane situations, that would be fine then. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with it in the meantime.
Might be helpful to have somebody take a look at it.
Most likely, yes. Perhaps when we're not on board a train car and there's a little bit more space. Maybe Kurt could assist with identification. I think he's got some magic for that. It's one option. It really is going to depend a lot on how everything goes in Dawning. I was sort of waiting.
Maybe you tell Virgil you have it after we leave Dawning? Once Rowan's gone?
I think that's agreeable after we leave Dawning, sure. You're not going to... No, you're not going to tell him prematurely, are you?
Henry, I won't tell him, but I don't think anything good is going to come out of you hiding it.
Well, there... by consequences, you know. I'm sure Virgil will understand in the long run. Or perhaps not.
Yes, I guess we'll see when we cross that bridge.
You really didn't hear anything else about the situation with Scar?
No, not yet. Given that she's been following us, it seems it wouldn't surprise me if maybe she's in Dawning.
That'll be fun.
Didn't think about that.
That she might be there?
No.
And the train rumbles on. Maybe on day 5, sort of near the end of Kian's intensive course on vampires. For the first time, Rowan knocks on each of your doors and asks if there's a time when he can speak to all of you.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works.
My schedule is quite open.
Of course.
Yeah, I can make some time.
When Kane opens the door, he looks like he has not slept. Has quite a bit of... It's almost a beard. Very long stubble. He looks a little rough.
Are you alright?
I'm doing fine. Lifts a hand to his face. Snaps his fingers. Looks like he did when he boarded the train. Just give me a little bit. I'll be ready like an hour or so.
Alright, just meet in my room.
Right.
Have you eaten since you went? Okay.
You all meet in Rowan's room. It's been basically converted into an office space for now. There's just a desk out, but it's clear of any work. He just asked you all to sit down. I just wanted to let you all know what to expect. It will be you reporting to Commander Navain if you are agreeable to that. Simply because you are speaking for the people of Enosh. Fenanita wrote a letter which you can pass over. I assume you will be leaving Dawning after that, and going on your own way?
Kane looks to Virgil.
I don't know. Is that how it will be?
Is Virgil even allowed to leave Dawning?
Yes.
Am I allowed to return?
Yes. I don't think this went particularly well, but you are allowed, yes.
Okay then. Am I wanted back?
Rowan looks to the rest of you.
Kane's trying to look like he's looking at the floor, but he is watching.
He looks back to Virgil. It's not as simple as that. You know that.
I was asking you and I'd hoped it would be simple, but we can talk about this later.
Right. Also, I suppose I'm not sure if you all are aware of this. I have a favor to ask. Do not mention that I still carry Virgil's gem.
What were you supposed to have done with it?
I was supposed to hand it over.
Why?
I don't know. Perhaps to be used in the same way the others have been used.
Of course. Thank you for not handing it over.
So,
We'll definitely make sure it doesn't come up in conversation.
thank you. That's all I needed to tell you.
Can I speak with you for a moment, Rowan?
Yeah, we can leave here.
Ox will Follow.
Okay.
Stays.
Ox just stays to listen.
I mean, maybe you want to protect Virgil from the scary lion man.
Shut your mouth.
I mean, we can
think it's the
stay.
other way around.
We can stay in the hallway.
Literally, I know how you fucks work. He will check the hallway to make sure that you assholes leave.
Ox will go back into his own compartment and then maybe sneak back out to go listen at the door again.
I think
Okay.
Ian has like poked a head into your compartment for a second. Just real quick. He drops the disguise and he still has a bit of a beard. Is this a good look or is this a bad look?
Ox looks a little flustered. It's definitely not a bad look.
It's never grown out this long before, so
Can I roll for stealth?
They're all trying to eavesdrop.
Yeah, well, except for Kian, who's just like, do I look hot? Like, I don't know. This is kind of hot.
This is my only
Ox very distractedly, yeah, this is kind of hot.
Only 5.
you're both
25?
I said only,
Only
5.
5.
Okay, that's very
It's
well.
not it's not to sneak up on Virgil. It's to sneak up on Kian.
Incredible.
I think it's a pretty good move on you.
I might keep it then. I don't know.
Are you distracting them from anything? So while you discuss Kian's new look, Virgil, Rowan hasn't moved from his spot. He waits for you to speak.
I just wanted to say, your reasoning for wanting to take the Celestial back, it was sound. I'm sorry I didn't pick up on that sooner.
No, I didn't know what to do. I still don't think what we did was the right thing. But, well, I don't know.
I don't know that there was a right thing. What does Navain think you did with my gem?
They think it was lost. At least they accepted that excuse.
So that is why you keep it hidden? Not because you don't want to see it?
You think I don't want to see it? Virgil, I could not exactly see it as an earring either.
That is another thing. Why an earring with Navain? Why couldn't it be a bracelet? I hate seeing it there.
You don't think that Commander Navain and I have...
No, Rowan, it's just... Do you have any idea how it felt when I saw you in the parade?
You weren't supposed to see it at all. I'm sorry.
I know you are. You know what that means for us. We may as well have exchanged vows.
Virgil, are you standing?
He would be... It's not quite pacing, but he isn't standing still.
Rowan stands and reaches out for you, Virgil, and hesitates before he actually touches your arm.
He stops.
It is not a replacement. I didn't know what to do, and you were gone, and I understand. That was not your intent. I know. I hoped it could be a sort of comfort. If I had known everything, if I had known, I wouldn't have. If I had known you were going to come back.
I asked you once if you would leave Donning with me. You said you would. If I asked you again, would your answer change?
Roll a d20 for me.
No. No. 4.
He takes your hand, and he lets go, reaches for the cuff of his sleeve, and pushes it up past where the tattoo of the orange blossoms is. There is just maybe 6 inches wide around his arm, a new scar. It doesn't completely cover the tattoo, but it warps it. It looks like a burn.
How? What happened?
I can't leave Donning, Virgil.
What do you mean?
It's my home.
You could have a home somewhere else. What do you mean? Will they not let you?
He shakes his head. I can't.
Rowan. Virgil takes his hands and will sit down with him. I need you to tell me, will they not let you, or is this your choice?
I don't know, Virgil. I just can't.
Can I roll insight?
Yeah.
Do I have advantage?
Yeah.
11.
It truly seems like he's struggling to answer, as if he doesn't know the answer.
Look, whatever this is, you taught me once that we can change the ending to any story. It doesn't have to be this way. We can figure something out.
I haven't been much of a storyteller for a while, Virgil.
So maybe we write one instead.
He reaches over to push his sleeve back down. He doesn't say anything.
Look, whatever happens after we get back to Domain, wherever we go, I will always come back to you. And I hope one day to take you from this place. I'm choosing you. I've always chosen you, and I always will. And he will roll up his own sleeve and reveal the matching tattoo that he got in paradise.
Despite himself, there's a small smile as you reveal it. It looks just the same.
I've gotten a pretty good look at it over the years.
Yeah. Virgil, I love you.
I love you.
If Virgil will allow it, he leans in to kiss him. He holds his hand tightly. That's the last he says that night.
If he is not encouraged to leave, he will stay.
Okay. He does not ask you to leave. In the morning, when you go on your way back to your room, he kisses you again. And he still doesn't really speak to you, but something about it feels like he's saying goodbye. You have one more day left on this train ride.
Okay, I guess I'll just take that and walk away with it.
Yeah, you've read through your infernal vampiric book. It appears to have been written by a tiefling named Reason, a Professor Reason. It seems like it's course material. It seems like it's a textbook with plenty of personalized insertions by the professor about other professors, about students even. There are references to the institution for which this book was written, but it remains unnamed. The language is mostly academic. It will blossom here and there, but then when it comes to more official hypotheses, it turns a bit more sparse and serious. And it is a attempt at a scientifically minded study of vampires. There was difficulty finding subjects to study, and they have a small pool to pull from. Even the professor themselves say that you should take their findings with a cup of salt. The writer freely admits the sample size is not big enough, but is the best that can be done with the resources available. And with your magic at your side, you're able to read through it. It relays sort of dry information that may not be particularly interesting to someone who is not studying vampires. The chapter on interviews and anecdotes has its own interest in a horrific sort of way, as the study of vampires does not appear to be very friendly towards the vampire subjects themselves. But you learned something, just as the professor did.
Horrifying.
I've given May the information
Yeah.
that Kian found in the book to relay as they please.
Yeah, you have. He'll knock on Virgil's door. Do you mind if I come in?
Not at all.
As soon as he steps in, he will glance around and see if there's a bat about.
Once you've closed the door behind you, Errol swoops down from the ceiling corner where he likes to sit.
Do you have all of the window shades drawn?
Well, he would have, like, candles lit, an arcane light going, so it's not, like...
Dark.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk about this now, but I did some reading about vampires. I know a bit myself. As someone, you probably have quite a few questions.
Errol turns into a person. They take their usual spot next to the window.
I was trying to learn more stuff that might be helpful that I didn't know before.
You know, I did not ask. You're familiar. Does it hurt our feelings that they call her a bug?
Kino will lift a hand to the bat on his shoulder and pet her little head. It's pretty hard to hurt her feelings, I think. As long as you're a good person.
Oh, just making sure. Alright, what is it?
I just thought you might want to know a bit about your whole situation.
The look that they made when Ox mentioned smoking cigarettes, they seem to have a trace of the same feeling about this conversation. But they nod.
Keen will sit down across from them. Look, I know it must be pretty hard for you right now, considering that a lot of people don't have the kindest of views. Someone who was very close to me, also, he's a vampire. So I learned a bit. I was trying to read a bit more, and you could read them yourself, but
I can't actually. I tried a few of them.
you're not missing much. It's pretty harsh at times.
If you need to feel better, have you read your friend's little collection?
What?
Have you read The Smut?
I understand.
I am talking about Ox's little romps.
Virgil does laugh.
If you are tired of vampires, it might make you feel a little better.
Sorry, Kian, but I'm more of a Team Jacob myself.
Anyway.
Well, I'm not really good at reading, so,
Just have him read them to you.
sure, but that's besides the point.
It is important to be well read. All genres.
Errol, please.
What?
You're deflecting.
Oh, what's whatever give you that idea?
Listen, I'm here if you have questions. There's definitely some things that you should know before you leave, I think.
Oh, you said you had your friends who could help. I have no other plans, so that is alright with me.
I haven't asked her yet, but they're a helpful sort. Keen looks to Virgil. Maybe we should keep it out of Rowan's
Yeah, that was the plan.
earshot.
You can tell him I am here if you wish.
It's not about what we want.
I'll leave you two.
Kian, are you okay? You've been more reclusive than normal.
This is a good look, though.
He's not quite used to it. He'll lift a hand to his face. I've just had a lot to think about.
Yeah, but are we okay?
Yeah, we're okay.
Can I insight check them?
Yeah.
16.
He seems genuine. But he's not hiding that they're just obviously uncomfortable at the situation. But there's no apparent blame there.
I wish it had turned out better than it did. But I'm not sorry that you're still here. Because of how it happened.
You know, I think that echoes my thoughts completely. I wish it had turned out differently. Well, I'm gonna go take breakfast in the dining car. Feel free to join me.
Kian, I know we don't know each other. I don't know if this helps, but I am glad to be here.
Glad that you're here too.
So you did not do everything wrong.
Keen smiles back at that.
And you all finally see dawning out the window. The landscape has changed, become more mountainous. In the distance, it slowly rose like lowercase I island from the oceans, the white-capped mountain peaks. Spring is here, but dawning is a cold place. Pass by the river. It's daytime now. It reflects shimmering sunlight. You move through the forest, the pine and the fir, the new blossoms of wildflowers, and finally into the dawning train station. You have to wait for the crowd to disperse a little bit before you can reunite with your goats and horses. There's no one here to meet you. You're expected to be able to find your way back following Roman's lead. Sorry, Commander Sterling's lead.
It's just Rowan.
We do like to watch him walk away.
You all head back to the Phoenix grounds. On the way there, he'll turn to you. I did inform Commander Navain that you would be with us, but again, you are not... I don't want this to make you nervous. You are not tied to anything here. just because you have joined us, you should probably at least show your face.
Whatever you advise.
Again, as I mentioned, we do have experts here, healers. We will be seeing one shortly, anyways, for Virgil, so... Tis an old injury. So we can see if you will be able to find some help here.
Thank you.
He's gonna hold me to that.
List of things he can hold me to. Oh, wow. I promise.
In that order. Okay, what the fuck are we gonna do with Nivane?
What are they gonna do with us?
So it was kind of a mess when we talked to Fenanita, and I apologize. That might have been me getting a little anxious about revealing some things about who we saw there.
I'm sorry for my part in that as well.
Well, it's alright. It wasn't your fault at all. I don't know what it means that they look like me. I kind of would like to keep that to myself. But everything else, I can't exactly see why we shouldn't share it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have any intention of mentioning the resemblance.
What about the stone?
It doesn't exist anymore, so
No, it's gone. Do we need to mention it?
I think that's just gonna make us look bad.
I'm sure Rowan will, if nothing else, mention that we no longer have it.
Rowan is here. Did you still say that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, just making sure.
As if he would hold back.
If you recall, he said he wouldn't say a thing.
That was when we were all the way over in Freya.
Keen's watching Rowan.
Henry's also watching her.
Rowan is blank-faced, like he doesn't hear you. And you can insight check him if you want to look deeper, but
Yeah. 11.
5. 19.
Wait, I have a
Using your
feat.
thing?
I have a feat. Haha, 12, not an 11, a 12.
Wow.
Kira, he's made of stone. He's perfectly unreadable. You kind of wonder, maybe he can't hear you. For the two of you, it looks like he is telling himself not to hear.
So we don't mention that.
What about, Kirit will just look over at Rowan and then at the bag of holding.
I mean, there's nothing else. Right?
Okay.
Who should be doing the talking? Are we going to have Virgil? Or should I?
Neither option are very appealing. But if it is betwixt the two of us, I...
Kianos just like, hello?
Well, Kian already mentioned
Fucking it up.
He was like, I didn't do a great job, so it like kind of implied that he didn't want to. And like, Ox would be a good candidate if Nivane was like a strict he, him. But
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry, Ox.
Yeah.
I love
His
you.
anxiety is too high.
Ox could, yeah.
Too high.
Ox, you want to talk to Commander-in-Chief Terra Nivane?
Yeah.
Hell no.
I promise to stay out of it.
Do you want me to stay out of it?
If I look as if I am drowning, maybe step in.
It might look best if you do it.
I know. Okay.
If you need a hand to hold at any point.
I'll keep that in mind.
Rowan leads you to the grand hall at the base of the tiered gardens. You leave your animals at the stables near the entrance, and you're walking across the grounds. As you're going, actually, Umbra, sort of out of breath, runs up to walk alongside you and places a hand on your shoulder, trying to get your attention. I need to speak to you as soon as possible when you're finished with this report of yours.
After, I suppose, directly after the meeting with Nivane, since I'm already here.
If that's all right, or tomorrow at the latest, but please do make your way over.
Yes, I certainly will. I haven't forgotten.
She seems like kind of excited, more so than worried in her anxiety to get you to come over. She gives you a little salute and slows down to let you guys keep going. Rowan does glance back curiously at this, but doesn't ask anything. And you enter through the towering doors into the silence of the Phoenix grounds. The birdsong fades as the doors close. Behind you, at the end of the hall, stands Commander Nivane. The same level as you. They look small almost until you get closer. Kirit, though they're an elf of average height, maybe like young, middle-aged for an elf. They're wearing simple clothes, draping robes. They have a neutral expression on their face, not unlike Rowan's as you were headed this way. But this is somehow the most intimidating person you've ever seen in your entire life. Rowan steps up ahead of you all, just a few paces, and His posture straightens to stand more like a soldier at Navane's side, and they wait for you to speak.
Virgil will approach to a respectable distance and start with a bow. Commander, we were successful with our mission in Freya. And he will just wait to see if they have anything to say.
They're silent.
We encountered a number of aberrations within the tunnels, and something that we suspect to have been a celestial in origin, but perhaps a vampire. Whether they were both to begin with is unknown. They did not reveal much information, but we believe them to have possibly been a fallen star, perhaps within the Falcon constellation. We dispatched the creature. When it became obvious it held ill will towards the people of Freya.
They look to you, Kirit.
You just turn into a dog right here.
Kirit's hand twitches up as if he's about to wave. Then he does a shallow bow.
I would like, as Virgil was talking, to insight check Navane.
Hey, babe, can I ask a favor? Can you natural 20 Navane's ass
I'm
again?
trying. 13.
21. 14.
Henry, you think maybe something is there for a second, but you can't say what. If it's good or bad, anger or joy, you can't say.
So they do have emotions.
Virgil will gesture to Kirit at his side. This is Kirit Passeri. They were on the same path to the ruins. They were very helpful in assisting us with the creatures we faced. I just they them do.
A lot.
Shit.
Unless he also means Kodak.
This is Kirit and his little dog.
Yeah.
They're silent a little longer, just a few seconds. What else did you find?
We found a few texts, surprisingly well preserved, all in Celestial. There were also a number of strange fungi. They looked similar to a variety we have seen before in the Feywild, but
Did you take any?
yes, he will produce a vial.
They take it. They slip it into invisible pocket in their robes. The texts.
Kian. I just grab Errol and pull him out.
Check this out.
Look what we found!
They look to you, Kian.
Grab a book.
Do you give it to them, or do they have to come get it from you?
Coin flip.
They step forward.
They take it. This is all?
We had to leave in a hurry pretty quickly. Not safe for us.
There's still more underground if you're so inclined.
What was that?
Kian's got this right. Kian's a good liar.
Kid's a good liar.
You're just the way that your body is
What did you get?
behaving. Did you natural one it?
Did you get a natural one?
May.
No.
You don't have any inspiration, do you?
But you're
They
God's
stare at
perfect
you.
princess.
They stare at you. And I don't know, Kian, did you ever do something bad on the farm? When was the first time your mothers were disappointed in you?
Very early on, Kian was assigned farm chores. And he learned pretty early on that he could get away with not always doing them. And one day it didn't work. And he got caught.
You feel very small as they look at you. From below, they're shorter than you, but you feel exactly like a child. They don't say anything. They nod.
Oh, you know, I've forgotten to. From within one of the pouches on his belt, Henry produces the maps and star charts that he had found alongside that box of mushrooms, and will present those over to Navane. I'd nearly forgotten we took these. They
They hold up their hand to take them. Give them a glance over. And have you roll another insight check.
that one.
Guys, stop! Please stop!
They don't seem disinterested, but they just take them, glance them over, tuck them under their arm. Give you another lasting look. To Ox, to Kirit. Kian and Virgil again. What are your expectations moving forward?
We didn't fucking talk about this.
Does Virgil hesitate?
Yeah, I think he does. Very clearly he looks at Rowan. Like, he doesn't consciously mean to, but he does.
We did our best. Our expectations are that we get the people of Enosh a home.
Rowan turns to Naveen now. Give them a few days to decide, I think. Naveen looks to him. And you all don't have to roll insight checks. It's a very subtle, very slight change, but for them, that means a lot more. There's a softening to their expression when they look to him. Almost a smile, almost. They nod, turn back to you, blank-faced again. 3 days. Strictly.
You're going to need to elaborate on that one. 3 days in what regard? Just how long it's going to take you, or how long we should expect, or...
For Flores to decide.
Which paths are open to me? Am I free to come and go as I please if I choose to leave?
No.
He just nods.
You wouldn't happen to have a draft of both in writing? Both options, I mean.
No.
Might be useful to put one together. That way he can be certain to follow any rules, regulations, etc. Hard to follow something you don't know about.
They just look at you.
And Henry looks at them. He's not afraid to hold eye contact with them.
You are dismissed.
I do have a request.
They are just about to turn. They stop.
I would like to ask permission to seek an audience with you and Nico.
Yes. Tomorrow,
He'll bow again.
11:30 in the morning.
Thank you.
And they turn again. Rowan stands there for a moment like he's not quite sure what to do, and Naveen turns and reaches out the hand to him, sort of beckoning him to follow. Rowan glances to all and gives a nod, turns and walks behind them out through the smaller double doors in the back of the hallway, and they click shut.
As they're going, can I cast message to Rowan?
Yeah, I won't stop you.
Whatever happens, don't let it be just their decision.
At the same time as you're sending this message, Naveen actually takes him by the arm, not aggressively, gently. It doesn't look like a romantic gesture. It's more motherly as they usher them past the doors.
Man, that's weird.
You don't hear anything back.
As we leave, everyone notices the air around Virgil is very cold.
Henry will basically usher the group aside out of the main walk. First, do we think that went well?
As best as it could have, I think.
It could have gone better, I think.
Also, I wanted to check in with everyone and see if it would be more appropriate. I still need to meet with Umbra.
You've been to Umbra's office a few times. You know the way at this point. You lead your boys, plus your new boy, over to her office. She opens the door to you all, and over her shoulder you can see a organized mess of a room. There are books stacked haphazardly everywhere. A few vials of what look to be mushrooms. Some of the spores are similar to the arcane spores that you've just seen around the world that power lights, basic amenities, things like that. There's a surprising amount of organic plant matter on the tables under telescopes.
Kirit is visibly curious.
She ushers you in really without question. She ushers all of you in and closes the door. She looks to you, Kirit. Hello.
Hi.
Who are you, if I may? Seems like a little thrown by your presence, but like isn't questioning it. She holds out a hand. My name is Umbra.
Pleasure, Kirit.
Right. Mr. Goodlove. I apologize for the lack of communication over the past week or so. I've been preoccupied, and honestly, the 25 words weren't sufficient, and I think it would just frustrate us both. Did your mission go well?
For the most part, yes, I'd say so. That being said, it was very, there was a lot to think about, so worked out in the end, I suppose, that I was busy, you were busy.
She nods as you speak, and it's very clear that she doesn't really care what your answer is. She turns around, picks up what looks to be a sketchbook, and opens up to a bookmarked page and turns it towards you. Virgil, you recognize this sketchbook. Not yours.
Okay.
It looks like Triumph's.
What the fuck?
And Umbra shows you a page with just a mushroom drawing study. And indeed, as mentioned before, there is a diseased mushroom cap drawn there that does resemble the pattern of your curse. Have you seen anything like this before? I mean, besides on yourself.
While they're investigating this, can I just look around on the tabletops and shelves? Do I see any of my sketchbooks around?
You don't.
Okay.
I can't say it's something I've seen before.
So I spoke to your parents. You said you don't recall having any sort of celestial influences in your bloodline. They didn't seem to know either, and as far as records go, which I suppose is not very far, but still, as far as records go, unless you can tell me otherwise, it seems your family has always been here at the Phoenix Island. Parents, grandparents, beyond. Family history is difficult to track from the outside, but perhaps you can say otherwise, or no, does that sound true to you?
That is accurate to the best of my knowledge.
What's interesting is, and she turns around and places that back on the table, this malady, I don't know if you'd call it a curse really when it's not a person. Like I said, it has a celestial connection. It can affect celestial beings, which are not typically easy to, well, kill, but there have been a few reported cases. She looks back up sort of to all of you. It's kind of like she first really notices that you're all here. Mr. Goodlove, I don't know how much of this is a delicate subject to you. Have you perhaps made, I don't know, some sort of a deal or pact or anything of that nature that involves the fact that you are currently, and she moves like her pen up and down kind of to encompass you as a person. Gold?
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else entirely. Yes.
It's just that it is a trait seen from some with a celestial connection of bloodline. There is a chance that is what is killing you.
I see.
Or I should say, it is what is making you affected by this malady, this curse. I suppose I don't know if your patron themselves is causing it, or if whatever cursed you sensed some celestial connection and knew this would work. It's a bit hard for me to come to conclusions with such a small amount of information from you. So I have just been wildly hypothesizing.
Well, I'm just not sure how. Are you saying that the celestial connection could be what's perpetuating the curse? I was under the... I've been like this for a lot longer than I had the curse. You're saying I should have to choose between?
No, again, like I said, I don't exactly know your situation. There are two possibilities that I could understand. One is that your celestial patron, friend, whatever they may be, is causing it. The other being that in making this pact, some other ocean's dweller was able to pick up on it and gift you a curse that would not affect a non-celestial. The reason why it's important is because, well, to go forward in research and hopefully treatment, one route would be looking at you as a tiefling, the other would be looking at you as a celestial.
Oh. I see.
Did that mushroom look at all familiar?
It looks like it could be something similar to the mushrooms that you found in the ruins.
There's definitely a moment of very obvious deliberation. It is just clearly a difficult decision, but eventually it looks from the outside more like he just kind of brushes his hand along like the inner lining of one of the belts that he's wearing to produce this almost ornate gold coin that he walks with to present to Umbra. Would this help in your determination?
She looks at it for a long moment.
Pact. This is the symbol for it. I keep it with my person, which is not generally an issue. If it would help, I'm fine staying with you for a week or two. I can't go very far. So
What happens if you do?
I just don't want you to see me like that.
Okay, but walking away from it won't kill you on the spot?
I would assume not, unless
That's not quite good enough for me, I think.
I haven't tested it since getting cursed.
Mr. Goodlove, I haven't forgotten that there was another sort of option, a route that you were considering going down for this. Don't part with this if you don't wish to. She puts a hand out, not to touch it, but motion for you to put it back.
He's already put it away.
Well, I don't have the authority to do this exactly, but the Dawn Shepherds do go through a trial that involves, she glances back at some of the vials behind her, spores from these mushrooms. I wonder if it could work as a vaccine effectively. Well, the Dawn Shepherds originally were given immunity to the oceans. We are not granted without going through these trials. There is that. There are also routes that may be considered less desirable, but that I have heard anecdotally of others going through successfully. And she is starting to speak a little bit slower, glancing around at you all. Matters of the soul essentially are involved in all cases. It has been a busy week of research, and I've learned a lot and very little at the same time. I do need to narrow things down a bit with you, based on what you are willing to share and what you are willing to keep secret.
I am willing to answer any questions you have to the best of my ability.
We got fucking shroomed.
I think this is what they call like a bad trip or something like that.
Mr. Goodlove, you have made yourself very clear about, how should I put this, where your loyalties lie. Unfortunately, the rest of you in the room, I have practically no idea who you are. If you were asked to willingly accept a truth-telling spell, would you? Would you accept it?
For what purpose?
Well, I have some questions I need to ask you before we move forward. I assume, Mr. Goodlove, you've brought these people with you because you would like them at your side.
Yes.
Are we...
What sort of questions did you have in mind?
The spell won't cause us to unwillingly answer
No.
everything you... Okay.
No. And just questions to maintain my safety.
Ox nods.
Yes, I'm willing. I'm fine with that, I think.
I have no problem with it either.
She just raises a hand over her heart.
Boy Scout salute.
Yeah. Mutters something. It sounds like maybe it's in Infernal, Henry, but you can't quite pick up what the words are. And there's a faint blue glow around you all. Do you all accept the spell?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Question. Is she also in the spell?
What do you guys want? Like, do you want Zone of Truth to be able to be visible to everyone?
I kind of like it.
Maybe it's only visible to people in the zone.
Yeah.
So-
It's kind of sexy.
Yeah, she has this blue aura around her as well. So, to put it simply, are you supporters of our Commander-in-Chief, Taryn Yvain?
No.
Are you?
She doesn't say anything. Looks to Kian.
I don't really know what they want, so... No.
I just met them today. I found them quite terrifying, but I bear no particular allegiance.
There's a glint of disgust in Ox's eye. No.
No.
She crosses her arms and leans back. Nods. Well, I guess we can get somewhere with that then.
Navain just comes out from the corner. No.
I heard you were talking.
Crawls out of the wall like a spider.
Sorry.
Umbra's sexy.
Drifts are
Let her be sexy. She's having a sexy moment.
And that is where we'll end the session for tonight.
You're so mean, I'm sorry. Man, what the fuck is up with Henry?
I've written, I want to be like Umbra when I grow up on my character sheet.
Yeah, let's go, baby.
Let's all become like Umbra when we grow up.
She knows magic and mushrooms. And magic mushrooms.
Funny, isn't it? These boys speak so kind when it comes down to it, are they? Rough hand, soft heart, right? I wonder what the Rusalka would say to that. I wonder what the Falcon would say to that. So many chances to spare the crying to leave them to die instead. That's the way of the world, isn't it? Warriors and songbirds. Both. Greedy bastards. They always want both. There is no both. Look around. Lion and lamb, bat and moth, coyote and hare. Hawk and crow and mouse. Mortals on the earth. They'll lay together till the dinner bell tolls. Well, who am I to say I'm anything different? It's easier said than done. Pardon my rambling. It's been mighty lonely. Are you even listening?
What the fuck, Dad?
Not with an attitude like that, I'm not.
Go build you a log cabin on a mountain so high, and hear the feather or birds yell as she goes screaming by. She'll tease you and she'll please you